The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, good Wednesday morning to you, and welcome to the show. Stephanie Pauly is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text, 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Jarrett Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jarrett-construction.com. Phone calls to the show with service of Bigly, Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street, Charleston. Texting service provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Tailor, here on Virginia Street. Tony celebrating his Italian heritage all this week with Fatto a Mano, or Made by Hand Week, featuring all their Italian vendors, all made in Italy items, 20 to 25% off. And tomorrow, come out and enjoy an Italian feast served by Pauly's Fine Italian. You didn't have to ask me twice. Check out bestmastertailor.com or Tony's Facebook page if you'd like more information. Wednesday edition of the show. Coming up a little bit later on, going to introduce you to a gentleman by the name of Larry Jackson. He's a candidate for Congress in District 1, but he's also out on a bit of a tour that they're calling the Second Amendment Tour. They had an event last night at the Marriott here in Charleston. With him today is Dick Heller, who's known as the Average Gun Dude. Should be a good discussion. That's coming up a little bit later on. Plus, several things in the news to get to, and your calls and texts are always welcome. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text, 304-935-5008. Want to tell you about a big event that's going to be going on next Thursday night at the Putnam Career and Technical Center, which is in Eleanor. It's called the Hometown Advantage Career Fair, and it's a joint project between the Putnam County Development Authority and the Putnam Career and Technical Center. Morganne Tenney is the executive director of the Development Authority, and she joins us this morning along with C.D. Caldwell, who's the director of Career and Technical Education in Putnam County Schools. Good morning, and welcome to both you folks.
Good morning, Dave.
Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
I am doing fine. Thank you both for being here today. Now, the prevailing mindset, guys, has been that you have to leave West Virginia to have a good career, and you hope to prove otherwise. Morgan, I want to start with you. You spend a lot of time in schools, and we know CD obviously does, more on him a little bit. But would you agree that has been, right or wrong, a popular opinion in the past, Morgan, that you have to leave West Virginia in order to have a good career?
Absolutely. We've noticed that so many young people and even folks my age have left the state because they feel like they need to have a good paying job outside of West Virginia, or maybe they go to university outside of the state and then they never come home. But what's interesting, David, with our work in economic development, we meet frequently with existing businesses located in Putnam County and around the state. And they all have the same need. They all need a skilled workforce. But when we would turn around and go into our school system and meet with some of our students, we'd ask them, what do you want to do when you graduate? And typically they would give you some answer about how they're going to leave and hope to be successful elsewhere. So we realized it's really not an opportunity problem because there are so many opportunities for good paying jobs here in West Virginia. It's a communication problem. So that's why we're partnering with Putnam County Schools and Putnam Career and Technical Center to just bring awareness to the fact that you do not have to leave West Virginia for a good paying career.
And CD, I'll ask the same question of you. Have you seen that in your experience in the past? Like Morgan said, that the misconception in some points is that students have to leave in order to get a good paying job?
I first started at Putnam Career and Technical Center about 8-9 years ago. When I first got there, there were certain jobs that we were training for that there wasn't much job opportunity in our area. So, I'm helping students try to find out where they can go to do the job they want to do. Today, the jobs are here. The jobs are around us. Part of our job is helping find these students jobs, how to find post-secondary education for them to get the job they want. The jobs are here. Last year, our students in our work-based learning program made almost $1 million from January to June in our work-based learning program that we have for high school students.
And I'll tell you, I have seen the work that you folks do out there at the Career Technical Center in Eleanor and Putnam County, and it's absolutely amazing. You're turning out some really good quality people, and we hope that we can keep them here. And there's plenty of opportunities for them to stay here, because here's what I've found, guys. And I've spent time at public schools, talking to young students, whether I was doing the Get a Life program, Morgan, that you're very familiar with through the Treasurer's Office and the Putnam Chamber and some of these different things. When I was in state government as well, I spent a lot of time in schools. And you talk to a lot of these young people. Many of them actually don't want to leave West Virginia. They actually like it here, whether they're the outdoors type or whatever the case may be. Their families here. They don't always want to go away. And I think it's a good point, Morgan, that you bring up, that sometimes it's a communication issue, is that they think these things aren't available, but they are available, as you guys have talked about, Morgan.
Yeah, absolutely. And to highlight something CD said, what someone grows up thinking they want to do may not be something they can do in West Virginia. If they want to get into, for some reason, Dave, it seems like so many of our young ladies wanted to be marine biologists when I ask them. I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from, but you're more than likely not going to be a marine biologist in landlocked Mountain State here. But what we're trying to do in this collaboration with Hometown Advantage is tell our young people and their families what careers are here, so at a younger age they can start thinking about what is available. And again, to CD's point, if we're teaching for things that aren't here, then we're basically exporting our talent. So what we want to do is we want to educate them for what's right in our backyard. And that's why we have such great collaboration with Toyota, for example, with like the 4T program, which is production for high school students. And then we have the FAME program, that's skilled maintenance at a post-secondary level. We're trying to show our local residents that there are good paying careers. It may just not be, I think I've said this to you before, Dave, it may not be what you thought you were going to grow up to be, right? But there's good paying careers that are here.
We're talking again with Morganne Tenney and CD Caldwell, and we're going to get to their actual event that they have, which is coming up next week. I do want to remind you, though, that the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're injured, visit forthepeople.com. All right, so next week, big event, Thursday the 23rd, 5 until 8 at the Career Tech Center in Eleanor. And this has gone on for how many years, CD? Has this thing gone on?
This is the second annual event.
Okay, I thought we did. I thought it was older than that. I apologize. So this is the second one.
We've been doing career fairs for years.
Right.
We'd have them in the middle of the day, and the employers weren't getting what they wanted. The students, it wasn't what I wanted it to be.
Right.
I wanted something with community engagement. I wanted something for the students that really wanted to invest their time talking to employers to have a space. I wanted a place for those students to bring their families, just not our current students. We had middle school parents bringing their students last year to not only talk to employers, but to go in our classrooms. Our classrooms are going to be open. So that way it kind of shows full circle of, training at our school, and then being able to talk to employers about, what skills they need. So with the help of the Development Authority and us, we've turned this into a community event that's good for everyone in our region, just not Putnam County.
And again, it's going to be next Thursday night from 5 until 8 at the Career and Tech Center in Eleanor. And you've extended it an hour, right? Because didn't it end last year at 7?
It did, yeah. So we kicked this off last year, and we had it from 5 to 7. But what was amazing, Dave, we had over 50 local companies attend who were actively hiring. They all had a position that needed filled. So we knew that we had great employer turnout, but we didn't know how many people were going to show up that were going to be job seekers. And what was incredible was in a 2-hour time span, we had over 1,200 people come through the doors of Putnam Career and Technical Center. I mean, we were just blown away. So we realized this year, okay, we've got to amp things up a little bit. We're extending an hour. We have a family fun zone this year. We noticed a few people had to bring their kids along. Kids are absolutely welcome, and we actually have an entire area that's going to be available for them with a bounce house, thanks to Family Wealth Group for sponsoring that. So we're trying to expand upon our year last year. And I, Dave, I've got a compliment CD here. He'll punch me across the table, but I'm a graduate of a Putnam County high school, and I never stepped foot in Putnam Career and Technical Center as a student. So the fact that we have students that are interviewing, that want to go to Putnam Career and Technical Center, and maybe even a waiting list for some of the classes at Putnam Career and Technical Center, just shows the change in that perception over the last 20 years. And I just want to commend him for that. But this also serves as an open house, as he mentioned. So even for people who just want to know what it looks like come see a welding class, come see the carpentry class. It doesn't have to be just for job seekers. It can be anybody who's just wanting to understand what we have in our community at the Career and Tech Center, and then also what do we have in our region in terms of available careers.
And again, the event is going to be next Thursday night. I will mention that our sister station, Superstar Country 96.1 KWS, will be broadcasting live from there. I am going to be doing the duties next week there in Eleanor, broadcasting on KWS, so I'm certainly looking forward to it. Now, if you're an employer, can you still sign up to be there?
Absolutely. We would love for you to sign up. You can do it at pcda.org/hometown advantage. It is free, and that's thanks to a partnership between Putnam County Schools and Putnam County Development Authority and those who invest in us, Dave. So this is free not only for employers to come, but also for any job seekers or anybody in the community that wants to come. Everything is free.
All right.
We're not going to, some things we experienced last year, we're not going to run off flyers and stuff to the last minute. So if a business wants to come in last minute, let us know. 2 o'clock day of, we'll take you. We want to find a place for you. Last year, we had people parking at the Piggly Wiggly in town. We're going to have shuttle parking set up. We're going to have school buses designated, running people between the GW schools and our parking lot. So we'll have shuttles available. We're going to have food. We usually like to have food. So our Pro Start class is going to be having a nacho bar set up. So there'll be snacks and stuff. One of the reasons we're running it from 5 to 8 is there's a lot of practices and stuff going on in Putnam County, and a lot of students weren't able to make it because of practices. Mm-hmm. And hopefully by extending it to 8 o'clock, we'll catch a tail end of some of those students that will be able to come over with their families and talk to different organizations.
All right, guys, I'm looking forward to it, and we'll be talking about it between now and then, but the event is next Thursday night. That's the 23rd from 5 until 8 at the Career and Technical Center in Eleanor, right on the main drag there. You cannot miss it, and it's from 5 until 8. And again, our sister station, KWS, I'll be putting on the cowboy hat that night because I'm going to be there broadcasting live in Superstar Country, KWS. Looking forward to seeing both of you there, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Great work.
Thanks, Dave. Looking forward to seeing you in your cowboy hat.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you, guys. C.D. Caldwell and, again, Morganne Tenney. It is a great event, by the way. And, again, last year was the first year they did it, and I was there last year as well. And, I mean, there were people everywhere. And he's not exaggerating. And, Eleanor is not that big of a place, okay? They're not exaggerating when they say that they had to run. Well, this year they're doing shuttles. They had people parked everywhere there last year. I mean, a couple thousand people came through the door. And again, it's not that big of a facility anyway. So we want to try to get as many people there. But if it keeps up like it is, they may have to look at maybe doing it over a couple of days or maybe doing it, longer time frame or something. But I don't know. It's going to be a great event. And again, we'll be telling you more about it as we get a little bit closer. 9:21, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by the all-new Generations Ford of Hurricane. They got some exciting stuff going on out there. You'll be hearing a whole lot more about it on our station soon. Check out generationsford.com for more information. Bigley Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
The Dave Allen Show is presented in part by Generations Ford in Hurricane, part of the Eric J. Tarr family of businesses.
What if the market drops after you retire? What if healthcare costs continue to rise? What if you outlive your savings? If these questions keep you up at night, you're not alone, and you don't have to figure it out alone. I'm John Burdett with 4th Avenue Financial, and I specialize in retirement income planning. Let's turn your what-ifs into a plan you can count on. Schedule your free consultation today at 4thavenuefinancial.com. 4th Avenue Financial, retirement done right.
Securities offered through Jenny McCole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny McCole Advisors Incorporated. The Husson's Pizza special for October is a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of 50 cinnamon bites for only $20.99. Visit your nearest Husson's for dine-in pickup or delivery. Order now at hussonspizza.com.
Injured? Call Morgan & Morgan. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. We'll always be here for you.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
The latest in news, talk, and sports on 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Visit jarrett-construction.com for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Thank you to our WCHS Game of the Week broadcast boosters for their support this season. Trojan Landing Marine and Power Sports, Edward Jones, Brett Harper, Caldwell Insurance Agency, Family Care Health Centers, and the Kanawha County Public Library.
Welcome back to the show, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Bridge Valley Community and Technical College. Insurance agents are in demand in the state and all across the country. Bridge Valley can help you take the first step. Their insurance pre-sales licensure course will prepare you to sit for the state-required property and casualty insurance licensure exam to start your career in this ever-growing field. Check out bridgevalley.edu for details. Bridge Valley Community and Technical College, your career starts here. Bigley, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. I want to introduce you now to a couple of guys in our studio this morning. Larry Jackson, who's a candidate for Congress in District 1, and Dick Heller. They call him the average dude. Now, Larry, I want to start with you because we're going to get to your candidacy here in a moment. But I want to talk about this Second Amendment tour you've been on. Big event held last night at the Marriott. And actually, I'm going to switch gears. Dick, I'm going to go to you first. Talk about this movement. Why is this the Second Amendment movement? Why is it so important to you?
Why is it so important?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, I used to live across the street in Washington, D.C. I still live in the same place for 49 years, but it used to be an infamous drug den on Capitol Hill, just a dozen blocks behind the Capitol building. And two things. I had a couple of bullet holes in my house. I figured, gee, it'd be nice to be armed. And then at 2 o'clock every morning, 16 rounds of 9mm went off to indicate the close of drug trade for the day. And I'd been a paratrooper and didn't have a gun, and the city passed a law that says you couldn't have a gun, so I figured maybe I should go get my first gun. So when I started this fight, I was a sub-average gun dude. Mm-hmm. And then I went and bought a gun. So my motto is now I'm an average gun dude.
Average dude. Well, I think you might be above average with all of this, all this thing that you've been working on. And talk about the tour. What exactly has gone on? Because you guys have been all over the place. They had an event at the Marriott last night. And Larry, I'm not going to leave you out. I promise. I'm going to get to you here one second. But talk about this tour and what you hope to accomplish and where you've been. Just break it down for us.
Well, what's interesting, Larry's the master on that. But
okay.
What I do recognize is that from my knowledge of voting, people need to know what a man stands for instead of just pulling the party lever. And they need to know that somebody stands for their values, not just because they're in office, but they need to be booted out of office by people that have the real same standards, constitutional standards that most of us have. So when I found out that Larry had been lawfared, big term in D.C., I don't know if it is out here, but Larry got lawfared. And
now explain what lawfared is for those that don't know.
Lawfare is when you take the force of government and inappropriately use it against your opponents.
Okay.
Or somebody that's against your agenda. So Larry is a First and Second and Fourth Amendment agenda dude. He's a constitutionalist. And when I found out he had been lawfared, he had been unjustifiably labeled and I figured I got to help this guy.
Now, Larry, I'll let you jump in if you want. How do you feel you were unfairly labeled? What happened?
Well, I have been fighting with the West Virginia DNR for the last 2 years now. Okay. My home was raided. Fourth Amendment was violated. Took my phone. Took the deer that I harvested. And this is drug out now for 2 years. And it was all because of a couple of anonymous calls. So a lot of lies.
Now, what was their reason for doing this? I mean, obviously you feel it was unjustified, and I get that. But what was their reasoning behind it?
Their reasoning behind it was that the anonymous callers called in that I killed this deer with a rifle in a bow on the county. So it was all lies. There is proof. I have the proof that, the injury they were saying was a rifle wound that killed the animal. The animal was walking around with 2 days prior with that same injury. I've got pictures of it. So, the $80,000 that I've spent in the last 2 years fighting this for the people, it wasn't about me. They wanted me to walk away with a $20 guilty plea and be done. But it took them 4 months of sitting and searching through my phone illegally to come up with anything, and they eventually charged me with hunting without a license. Again, this was a fight that I fought for all West Virginians. It wasn't for me. I knew I didn't do anything wrong. So I want to stop this type of stuff from happening to other folks.
So this is why you decided to run?
No. There's a lot as far as running. I'm from Wyoming County. We have a major water issue there. People can't get clean drinking water. The roads are falling apart. There is no jobs. The coal industry is, coal is coal. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. We need to bring more jobs into southern West Virginia. We need to fix the infrastructure. We need to be listening to what people are saying, and I feel I'm the best person for that job.
Give me some of your background, other than this story. Just who is Larry Jackson? Talk about you as a person.
I grew up, born and raised Wyoming County.
What part of Wyoming County, if you don't mind my asking?
Hanover.
Okay. I know it well.
So I was born and raised in Wyoming County, like most in southern West Virginia, at or near the poverty line. So I know what it's like to go to bed hungry. I know what it's like to worry about getting bills paid. I worked hard to come out of that. I now own a business, Eastern Equipment. I run a successful business, and I never forget where I came from or what I came from. I have 6 children. I've been married for 23 years to my high school sweetheart. Together we have 6 children. And again, I'm not a politician. I am doing what the people are wanting done, and the people are not happy.
And that's Dick, a soundbite. I love that.
and Dick, you have officially endorsed him, right?
The Larry is my man.
The Larry. Get your own brand now. The Larry. What is it, Dick, that you, again, you live in D.C., whatever. What made, you followed his case, obviously, but what is it that made you, that's one thing, but you obviously saw something in him that made you want to get behind his campaign. What was that?
Well, in Washington, it's a swamp of mingling, and you just meet people from all over America. Come to the Soviet district, and we meet up, and I heard his story, and I said, I can't believe this. Lawfare, the cancer of lawfare of the Washington swamp obviously has spread to West Virginia.
Okay, so you decided to run for Congress, and you've officially filed, and so I guess you will, whatever.
Yes.
So you're going to be running, and you'll be. I don't know exactly who else is going to be running, but obviously Carol Miller is in that seat now. What would you do differently than what Congresswoman Miller's done?
One of the biggest things that I would do differently than what she is listen to the people. That's one of the biggest complaints is I'm out meeting people, talking with them. A lot of them doesn't even know who she is, unfortunately, and that's sad. That's probably the biggest thing is listening to the people and taking their concerns back to Washington.
You talked about the infrastructure issues, particularly in this district. And, of course, we have only 2 districts now. Basically, you can be defined as the central, southern, and then everything north of that. And so it's a very, very big district. And a lot of the issues are going to be different from Charleston to Hanover. But a lot of them are going to be the same because we hear the infrastructure issue talked about no matter whether it's a larger city like Charleston or whether it's, Hanover. Yeah, a lot of the issues are the same.
Absolutely. The infrastructure, as you're riding through southern West Virginia, District 1, the infrastructure, it's just, roads are falling apart. Now, obviously, it is different in Hanover than it is here in Charleston. Here in Charleston, the roads are not falling out into the river like they are in Hanover. But we definitely have a lot of work to do there. And I can't, in good faith, continue to watch money be sent overseas while we sit here and do without. Where's our money going?
What's your idea for the campaign? Because obviously, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but any time that you're going to get up against somebody who is an established political figure, like Congresswoman Miller is, and doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, it's always difficult to go after somebody that's an incumbent. What's your plan?
My plan is to engage with voters. I have been doing that for the last almost year now. I announced in November of last year. So I've been out meeting with voters, listening to their concerns, educating them, and letting them know that, independents, you need to get registered as Republican if you want to vote for me because I am Republican and next year primary is closed. So I've been engaging with the voters, informing them, letting them know what they need to do. That's my plan going forward as well.
And if I don't know that anything like this are planned, but if there were to be a debate or a forum or something like that involving Congresswoman Miller or whomever else may be running, was that something you'd be willing to take part in?
I have, and I've actually made a statement on that as well. I will debate. The only stipulation is everyone that may be in the race has to debate. No one's getting a free pass with me. I stand firm on that. No one is getting just a free pass with me.
Okay. Again, we're talking to Larry Jackson, who's going to be a candidate actually is a candidate for Congress in District 1. But obviously, you're aligned with Mr. Heller here. He's given you the endorsement. And we know you told us your story, what happened, but why your story notwithstanding, if it had never happened to you, what is it about the Second Amendment that's so important to you?
The Second Amendment is under attack. It has been for a while. The Second Amendment is clear. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Somewhere along the way, our government has infringed extremely bad on the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment is the only amendment that protects all your other rights. Without the Second, you have no others.
Dick's over here doing like my dad used to do in church, going, yeah, amen. You want to add in on that, Dick?
Well, what I've noticed the pattern is once they found they could start infringing on the Second Amendment, by golly, the First Amendment started coming close on its heels.
I will say this. I think we got a big First Amendment issue going on right now. A huge, and that's the one that both sides have championed until they didn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if the First Amendment comes, it comes with some baggage, I guess, from time to time.
Well, our rights come from God. They don't come from government. The rights enshrined in the Constitution, those are just that, rights. And the government seemed to have them confused with rights and privileges. Privileges you can give and take. It's kind of like a driver's license. That's a privilege. Mm-hmm. We can all agree to that. You can have that privilege revoked for some reason, whether that be citations or whatever. Rights you cannot. A right and a privilege are different. Rights you just can't take and give back or juggle around. And the First Amendment is coming under siege right now. And I'm a constitutionalist.
What's your definition of a constitutionalist?
For me, if the Constitution says it, it's pretty clear, and that's what we're going to live by.
Dick talked about the swamp that is D.C. All right, if you are elected and you go to D.C., how do you make sure you don't become a member of, as you say, the swamp?
I'll be there.
You got to answer to the dude over here, right?
Yes. I'm no politician. I believe in term limits. I believe that's one way of fixing that, because most of the people that are in there now, they came from political backgrounds, political dynasties. I am a firm believer in term limits, which is what voting is. It's why we have representatives elected every 2 years. So that power does lay with the people right now. Unfortunately, the people aren't exercising that power. We see that. A lot of people, and the numbers are staggering at the voters that just doesn't get out and vote.
Why do you think that is?
It's been this way so long in southern West Virginia anyway, in District 1. This seat has been held by a career politician since 1977. Now, that was before my time. I was born in 82. How much further back it goes than that, I don't know. I've not researched it. But at least since 1977, this seat's been held by a career politician, and folks wonder, why are we not seeing anything? Why are we not getting any change? So, back to your question, I have decided to term limit myself. I have signed a term limit pledge. Again, I'm no politician. I've got my career. I've got my family. I just want to make a change for the people and then get back to that.
Where can people go ahead, Dick?
Could I add to that?
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to why, but I can tell you what is. Now, what I'm always harping on is that Comrade Governor Hochul, Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, won by 327,000 votes. Now, that's good news for her. The bad news is that 64%, and I hope this irritates some people in D.C., in West Virginia, so they become a hero to their kids, take them to the poll and see their parents voting for their freedom, because in New York, 64% of the gun owners in Hunter did not get off the couch and vote. To the tune of 3.2 million gun owners did not vote in New York. 10 times the margin that Comrade Hochul won by.
Interesting point. Larry, I appreciate you being here. We got to wrap it up. I want to give you, well, first of all, I want to ask you about where can people learn more? You have the website, social media, what do you got?
Yes, we are on social media, Jackson for U.S. Congress on Facebook. They can also find me on the website. That is www.jackson4wv.com, jackson4forwv.com.
And as I do with every candidate, no matter whether they're running for Congress or county commission, it's always the same final question. Give me 30 seconds, and I'm not actually going to time it. Give me about 30 seconds on why people should vote for you.
If you're looking for change and you're looking for more opportunity, then I'm obviously the better candidate. If you're looking for your rights to be upheld, I'm actually it's a clear choice. Get out and vote. Make a difference. Learn about me, come out, hear me, and make a difference.
Accessible.
And
I'm very accessible.
All right. Larry, appreciate you being here. Dick, pleasure to meet you as well. Appreciate you, everybody, for being here. Thanks a lot. Hang out with me here just 1 second. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you by Rich the Realtor and Meeks Realty Group. Looking to buy or sell? Meeks has you covered from residential to commercial. You can trust Rich the Realtor and the entire team. They'll guide you through every step of the way. Meeks Realty Group, where your dreams find their homes. Call them today, 304-932-7488, or email R. Klein, that's R. Klein, Kline, at meeksrealtygroup.com. 20 minutes away from 10. The rest of the show is yours. We'll take a break. Be back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
My name's Chris Miller. I'm president of Dutch Miller Automotive. Jarrett Construction completely renovated and helped redesign Dutch Miller Kia in South Charleston. The fit and the finish and the quality of the project is exceptional. He has an attention to detail and an eye for that kind of stuff. You always want to give your best to your customer. It's just as important to him as it is to you. If you're ever looking to build anything, I'd call Jarrett Construction because you know exactly you're going to get something excellent every single time.
Call on Jarrett Construction.
Are you ready for the retirement end zone? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we're your quarterback for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a playbook tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or near the retirement goal line, we make the process a touchdown, easy and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to start your game plan today. Let's work towards your dream retirement together.
Stuck in a job that just isn't getting it done? Maybe it's time to go for IT. Whether you're just starting out, switching careers, or a military veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you launch a rewarding career in IT in months. No prior experience needed. Why spend years getting a traditional degree when your future in IT can start right now? Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Your most powerful upgrade? Your career. Go for it. Go for IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Welcome back to the show. 17 minutes away from 10. Stephanie Pauly is our producer today. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Their services involve developing comprehensive management plans to outline strategies for controlling and minimizing asbestos exposure. Perfect for commercial property owners and managers. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. And I got a bunch of texts to get to. Text says, who's Carol Miller? Says the texter. And I'll get to the others in a moment because I got to take care of a couple things here. One of the big sponsors of this show, our friends at Bridge Valley. Well, on Friday, you're going to hear from Dr. Casey Sachs of Bridge Valley, but they have a big event going on tomorrow, the annual Pumpkin Drop. Steve Animal from her sister station 98.7 The Mountain, Wild and Wonderful Classic Rock, is going to be serving as the MC of this event tomorrow. We'll get a live update on this show tomorrow from him. Coming up later today on Metro News Midday with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me, powered by Salango Law. You may have heard about this Saturday. There's going to be a couple hundred No Kings rallies across America protesting the policies of the Trump administration. Going to be one in Charleston, too. It's going to start at the Robert C. Byrd Federal Courthouse downtown and wind its way to the Capitol. Pastor Marlon Collins is one of the people taking part, and he'll join us on the show today. Also, it's Wednesday, which means we're going to introduce you to another wonderful West Virginian. Fred Persinger will be here to talk about high school ratings that were released yesterday, football ratings, of course, and the Power Index on Monday. Plus, Delegate Daniel Linville is on the show. TJ Meadows will stop by to talk about his commentary. Jeff Jenkins will get you caught up on the news. Rob Cornelius is here, loaded up show today. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and me coming up at noon today. So, Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. Text says, that guy was the most boomer-sounding millennial I've ever heard. Well, I'll just leave that alone. I'll leave that alone. Text says, for the Second Amendment guy, 2 questions. I presume he hates extreme risk protection orders like the one West Virginia has. Why should those who pose an acute risk of danger of gun violence have guns? Can you quote any other parts of the U.S. Constitution? Says a texter. Texter says, when all the guns have been banned, when all the words have been censored, when all the history has been erased, when all the freedom has been taken, only then will you discover why our right to bear arms was so high on the list. Text says, Dave, props to Mrs. RFK, Cheryl Hines, for sitting at the Covens Cauldron yesterday, defending him and HHS employees against the not-so-subtle nastiness and snide insults made by Sonny. And by the way, Whoopi had the gall to say he's not a doctor. That's interesting. Guess what, people? Al Gore is not an environmental scientist. Bill Gates is not an environmental scientist. John Kerry is not an environmental scientist. Bill Nye is not a scientist at all. Leonardo DiCaprio is not a scientist at all, says a texter. Text says, I think the problem is people like Chris Hamilton, the coal industry, that's been against renewable energy or anything green that wants to locate here. Look at Nucor Steel. Green steel plant, spinoff jobs will come here. Bigley, Piggly Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor, text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Husson's Pizza. This month, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of 50 cinnamon bites, $20.99. Check out your closest Husson's for delivery, pickup, or dine in at hussonspizza.com. Text says, Dave, would any preacher out there tell me the good works that will get you into heaven or baptism will save you? This is what Charlie Kirk was saying, and it is a lie. Text says, Trump said he had the right to take guns from people like gays or transgender people. He took away your bump stocks during his first term, says a texter. Okay, I'm not going to get to the name calling, but I'll read the rest of the text. It says he thinks the guns are more powerful than the corporation that owns a radio station he's babbling on, says the texter. Okay. When you send me so many, it's kind of hard to read them all. But text says, hey, Dave, I've been seeing some new ICE videos of ICE unhinged violence. Saw videos of them raiding through a Walgreens looking for brown-skinned Spanish speakers. That's right. ICE is raiding businesses looking for the brown-skinned Spanish-speaking customers to take to their private labor prisons. Look into Geo Group, the private prison company that is donated to our very own Shelley Capito. They're running the detainment centers that are holding the immigrants, says a texter. Text says, Dave, are we really believing a report from DHS saying multinational billion-dollar drug cartels are offering tiered incentives for assaulting ICE officers? What do they have to gain? Do cartels care about immigrant low-wage laborers? This smells manufactured, says a texter. Text says, so Tom Holman took $50,000 in a paper bag as a bribe. ICE pays $50,000 to join the ranks, and now the cartels are offering $50,000 to kill an officer. Why is it all $50,000? Lord have mercy, the Trump regime needs to get more creative, says a texter. Bigley, Piggly Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor, text 304-935-5008. I do want to throw this out there. Had Kanawha County Commission President Ben Salango on the show yesterday, talking about the expansion of the Law Enforcement Training Center out near Camp Virgil Tate. We had a caller to the show, and we had some text, too, asking if that shooting range had been open to the public at any point. Did some check. I actually called during the commercial break yesterday to Sheriff Joe Crawford, but he was busy. He was in a meeting. He did call me back later. Had a nice conversation with Sheriff Crawford, who tells me that facility has never been fully open to the public, as in, and the example that he and I kind of came up with is on a Sunday afternoon, you couldn't gather the family and say, hey, let's go shooting and go up to the shooting range. That's not the way it worked. There always had to be somebody there, and, they used it for concealed carry classes and things of that nature. But no, according to Sheriff Crawford, it has been in the Sheriff's Department for a long time. That facility has never been fully open to the public. Text says, this guy is wasting his time trying to unseat Carol Miller. Miller has her suction firmly locked in on the Trump. And MAGAs don't care about nuance in policy. Text says, where does my right to own a certain type of weapon meet the privilege of being able to own it? Like, I can buy a pistol or a rifle with no problem, but I have to go through hoops and payments to own automatic weapons. Also, is owning an automatic weapon a right or privilege? I can't modify my semi-auto or full auto without ending up in federal prison. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. The Salango Law Light the Night returning to Gomart Ballpark November 21st through January 1st. Get your tickets in advance. Please get them in advance by visiting dblightthenight.com. We'll take a break. Be back with more after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses live to make life better for you and your family.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Hi, I'm Matt Bainbridge. I'm a principal with CEC and the survey practice lead in West Virginia. My journey with CEC started as a staff consultant in 2014. From surveys to well pad design, CEC has nurtured my growth. In 2015, they empowered me to build a remote sensing group, providing the resources to get the job done. The best part is with CEC's support, my career and retirement plans are secure. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Looking for a better banking experience? You've just found it at Members Choice West Virginia Federal Credit Union. We're owned by our members, not by shareholders. What's that get you? Lower loan rates, little to no fees, profits returned to our members through dividends, and so much more. Our sole mission is to help our community, you, thrive financially with superior products and services. Join MCWV today or learn more at memberschoicewv.com. Your money, your community, your choice. Restrictions may apply.
The high school football season continues Friday night, presented by Gomar. You can watch Princeton and Beckley, Montcalm against Greenbrier West, Parkersburg South at Morgantown, Scott and Roane County, and Winfield versus Shady Spring, all on Metro News TV. Brought to you by the Thrasher Group, Marshall University, and the Mountaineer Challenge Academy. Stream the action live on Metro News Television. Download the free Metro News Television app or visit wvmetronewstv.com for more information.
Welcome back to the show, 7 away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine, a podcast promoting healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. Check out the latest episodes, wvmetronews.com, under the podcast menu. Bigley, Piggly Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor, text 304-935-5008. Text says, on your previous guests, those guys sound less informed and intelligent than Carol Miller, and I am impressed and worried, says a texter. Text says, October 18th is called No King's Day. No clue why, because America's never had a king, so this is fake news. However, there is no Democrats' Day, known as Election Day, and the next couple of them will empty out of office Democrats, leaving them as a total outcast, says a texter. Text says, hey, gun dudes, why don't you ever read the well-regulated militia part of the Second Amendment? It's in the Constitution, but we don't follow it. Thought the dude was a constitutionalist, says a texter. Text says, Dave, totally against ICE from using the gun range. They are 100% political and are against the people. Don't even want them in the states, says a texter. Text says, Dave, I sleep better every night because President Trump is in the White House. He's done more to strengthen our country than any other president in my lifetime. And thanks, says a texter. So I'm going to pose a question to you. What do the Washington Post, Fox News, Newsmax, MSNBC, the Huffington Post, NBC News, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, Reuters, Politico, PBS, the New York Times, the Military Times, CNN, what do all these entities have in common? Because you would see up on the surface that you couldn't get representatives from Fox News and MSNBC to share a cup of coffee. But they're all together and they're all united. What are they united about? All of these entities are speaking out against the new Pentagon rules on reporting. The Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, is threatening journalists access to the Pentagon if they don't sign rules put forth by him and the administration that would punish them for reporting information that the Pentagon does not want released. Now, granted, we're not talking about classified information here. We're not giving away war secrets, okay? So I was reading this story last night, and I actually posted it on my social media without commentary. I just said what all these, have in common. So I will say congratulations to Pete Hegseth, because you have somehow managed. We always talk about getting the country back together. You have managed to get Newsmax, CNN, MSNBC, the Wall Street Journal, Fox News, New York Times, Post, PBS, etc., all on the same page. They've all united. Newsmax and CNN and the Wall Street Journal and the Post and the Times and all the PBS, they're all on the same page here. What kind of a bizarro world do we live in that they are all on the same page? Text says, MAGAs are going through collective psychosis. Not sure if they need empathy or committed to an institution. Probably both, says a texter. Got to find someone now to replace Mike Stewart in the state Senate. Mr. Stewart, of course, is now a part of the Trump administration, and he vacated his seats in the Senate. Aaron Parker, story posted about this morning, WVMetronews.com. Now, the deadline to apply is at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And you know the way that this works. There will be a committee that will put forth a list of applicants to go to the governor. And this will be the completion of Mike Stewart's term. Again, Aaron Parker's story with quotes from State Republican Party Chair Josh Holstein posted this morning at WVMetronews.com. Text says, this is going back to the show yesterday. Are we becoming dumber? Yes. Tech billionaires and their soon-to-be puppet president, J.D. Vance, will control vast swaths of the MAGAs through AI, taking over thought processes. It's part of the reason AI is so heavily invested. It kills thinking and cultivates obedience, says a texter. Text says, freedom and the Constitution that Trump wants to get rid of ain't going to happen, Buttercup. TJ Meadows is going to be coming up with Talkline along with Dave Wilson at 10:06. I don't know if you heard this. You were walking as I was saying this. All of those institutions that I mentioned, all these media institutions, Newsmax, CNN, MSNBC, Wall Street Journal, so on and so forth, Fox News, are all united together. What do you think about that? What kind of bizarre world is that? That Newsmax and the Wall Street Journal and Fox News and CNN are all on the same page here.
Tells you just how bad this idea is. And the one network that does it, One America News Network, I think it is, probably struggles to get 3 people to watch it. That's why they've signed it, right? So they think they can get something out of it. If we're the only ones there, we'll get the juice.
Right.
This is a bad idea.
And it's not classified information, TG. I don't know why I called you TG. I thought I was interviewing.
I've been called worse.
I thought I was interviewing T.G. Shepherd here, a late country singer for a moment. Actually, is he dead? I don't know if he's dead or not.
I don't know either. I'll have to look.
All right. So
my condolences if he is.
I actually met T.G. Shepherd out, MC to show.
Did you really?
MC to show that he was. My T.G. Shepherd story is that he walked out to sign autographs, and I was leading him out, and he was smoking a cigarette, and he handed me his cigarette to hold because he didn't want his fans seeing him smoking a cigarette. So I am standing there, holding a cigarette. People
do you know what brand he smokes?
No. People are like, when did you start smoking? I thought, about 5 minutes ago. Well,
I would imagine
when he had made his cigarette. All right, so how bad is this idea of a Hegseth, Scott? Come on.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Daniel Ellsberg needed the New York Times to share the Pentagon Papers with us. We needed to know about Watergate. It's a bad idea. This is taking one of the fundamental checks and balances that's not written in the Constitution aside from the First Amendment, right? Not government-driven, public-driven institutions that keeps government honest. Mm-hmm. This is making it harder for them to do their job. That's not good.
All right. But again, hats off to Hegseth. He got them all together.
He's a uniter.
He's a uniter. All right, quickly, what you got on the show?
So coming up at 10:06, we're going to my list went. I hate when that happens. It went blank.
It's going to be a good show. Trust me. It's coming up at 10:06. I'll be back later today with Metro News Midday. We'll see you then. Until then, have fun and love somebody.